guess this is the point at which conventionally you would say this is where the magic happens, but I don't think of any of it as magic. If anything, it's kind of like sourcing rusty parts from a junkyard and cobbling together like a jalopy that might get you to work. This is one of my favorites. This is a fuzz pedal that I bought from a guy in Sicily who houses them in old military gear. This is like a communication unit from a Italian or maybe American tank. So he repurposes this old military gear to make guitar effects. Kind of plow swords into plowshares kind of idea. The prominent peace sign there on the back. Yeah, this is my ever so professional drum kit. It's a single timbale with an old piccolo snare, a little tiny kind of splash cymbal, and my kick drum, which I don't know if you can see it here, a djembe turned on its side. In 1998, I broke my neck playing hockey, which is something I've done all my life. And not breaking my neck, but playing hockey. And the band I was in at the time was about to go on tour, and I was told by my doctors I really couldn't be like on stage for 45 minutes or whatever with a full weight guitar hanging around my neck. So I contacted this company, Reverend, they used to be based in Michigan. I think they've moved, because they make these hollow body plastic guitars, or at least they used to. I don't think they make these anymore, which are much lighter than a conventional wooden body guitar. So I've been playing this guitar ever since 98, 99. You might notice it's just got 5 strings on it. I broke a high E string at one point and just never replaced it. And I think 5 strings are plenty. Yeah, this space also serves as the headquarters. A little too grandiose for what this really is, but the headquarters for my record label, In Situ Records. So some of our offerings here. This is the first Names of Music record that came out back in, I'm bad with dates, I don't know, 2021 maybe. This is our, relatively recent compilation of The Fire Show, the 2 of the full albums that we put out back in the early 2000s. But this is a re-release as a kind of box set. It's a 3-record set on an old style tip-on jacket, kind of folkways style. Very happy with the way this turned out. This is the most recent Names of Music record that up until the new one comes out, this Extinction, but this one's called Olias in the Wake of the Ideal X. Has a little booklet inside. So this is kind of the stock, and I fill orders from down here. Got the Nil Resplendent record that came out, I don't know, 2019 or something. And then this is Names of Music with the beautifully titled Conscience, Virginity, Potato. The whole enterprise of music was completely mysterious to me. I don't have kind of a natural head for music the way some people do. And I certainly didn't have any access to, the music business. And I didn't know people in bands throughout my teen years. So I didn't really, the whole thing was like a kind of locked box to me. But I knew that it meant something to me, and it did something to me, and I wanted to somehow be part of that. I wanted, in the, I guess in the kind of simplest form, I just wanted to contribute to that larger project of making music. And I didn't have dreams of stardom or riches. I heard people doing something that I thought was valuable, and I just wanted to contribute to it. Used to go to the local music store in Boston where I went to college, and quote unquote buy a 4-track cassette machine, take it home for the weekend or 5 days or something like that, and record, and then bring it back to the store and return it. Maybe not the most ethical move, but I had no other way to get the stuff made, and to learn how to record music. So my apologies to EU Wurlitzer in Boston for pulling that scam. Names of Music was started off as a pandemic project, really. It had been a while since I'd been making music on a regular basis. I wasn't in a band at the time. We were living in a kind of high-rise apartment in downtown Chicago. But I had assembled some instruments, over the years, and had done a little recording. But during the pandemic, so much time on our hands, so much time stuck at home, I just started recording in my bedroom, in this high rise, trying to keep it quiet so as not to offend the neighbors. When people ask what an album is about or what a song is about, what they're really referring to, I think, generally is the lyrics. And for me, the lyrics are just one component in a larger construction that creates any sense of the thing being about something. So you can't just isolate the lyrics and say, because the lyrics address A or B or whatever, that's what the song is about, because the music also communicates. The music also has something to say. And then there's also there's things that are even kind of beyond the actual contents of the song or the album that also communicate. There's something about positioning a song or an album relative to other things going on in the music world or in the world in general. There's positioning it relative to the previous work that the artist has made. And those things are sort of moves on the chessboard, and they have meaning as well. So to say what a song is about, to say what an album is about, is a complicated thing. Yeah, I mean, the title does mean to suggest something, right? So the title is This Extinction. We're living through potentially a number of different kinds of extinction, or a number of different possible causes of an extinction. There's the obvious one of the climate emergency and the fact that we are, verifiably right now destroying the planet on which we live, the water, the air, the rising temperatures, rising sea levels, all of that. But there's other ways to think about an extinction, the extinction of values, the extinction of certain modes of living in a society and being governed in a society or governing in a society. I mean to conjure all those things. That's why it's called this extinction, and then this acts as a kind of placeholder or a kind of space to be filled by any given listener. Or I do feel like in the previous Names of Music records, I was sort of consciously aware of my influences and in some ways trying to play to a kind of blueprint. Sometimes that blueprint was a confusing blueprint, with a lot of different elements to it. But I definitely kind of realized at some point during making this extinction that I wasn't really playing to a blueprint anymore, that I was just following instincts that may have been informed by those blueprints. But I wasn't thinking about them anymore. I wasn't like, there wasn't a target anymore that I was aiming my music at. It was just kind of, it was just happening. You kind of know when you've cleared a hurdle or transcended previous habits. And the music is really trying to pull together a kind of set of diasporic influences, that, trying to sort of find commonality in influences that are not normally thought to have much in common. So the post-punk, the dub, the krautrock, but also I listen to a lot of Ethiopian music. So thinking about certain kinds of structures and certain kinds of, melodic and harmonic content that are not exactly central to the kind of Western tradition of rock music or pop music or whatever. Bringing all that in, but also bringing in a lot of the experimental music that I'm aware of and that in my kind of academic life I think about and write about and teach. A matter of using these things in ways that either contrast or surprise, that come up in surprising ways, to keep the listener's ear kind of engaged. You don't, at minute 2 of a song that might be 5 minutes long, you don't want to kind of already feel like everything that's likely to come. I want to keep the listener's ears on their toes.